You are about to experience the Jersey Jaguar YouTube channel, the greatest YouTube channel in all of history when it comes to your Jacksonville Jaguars. In order to become a subscriber to this channel, if you haven't done so already, you only need to fit 3 criteria. First, you must love the Jacksonville Jaguars. Second, you must hate, better yet even despise, the Tennessee Titans. And third, and most importantly, you must know in your heart with everything you have that Shad Khan is a complete and total buffoon. If you fit those 3 criteria, hit that subscribe button, join me on this YouTube journey, and I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Sit back, relax, and listen to the best Jaguar insight on the YouTube platform. What is going on, Jaguar fans? It is your boy Jersey Jaguar here, coming at you guys with yet another video. Today's topic, other than my shaved face, today's topic is I'm going to go over each position group for the Jags, and I'm going to give you one player from each position group that me personally, if I think can have a breakout year or at least a much better year than last year. I think the Jaguars as a whole can come together as a much better team. Jaguars can win some football games, and who knows, maybe even under the leadership of Dougie P, the Jaguars will reach the playoffs. Wouldn't that be something to have another 2017 season? Don't want to get my hopes up, but let's jump right into this video. So let's start on the offense. Let's start with the offensive line. So the player on the O-line that needs to have a breakout season, in my opinion, Jawaan Taylor. Jawaan Taylor had a solid rookie year, and then ever since then, he's been below average, mediocre. He has fallen very much from grace in the eyes of a lot of Jaguar fans. His production has dropped off pretty significantly. He's got to get better. He's got to get better because if he's not, Walker Little is sitting right behind him. You ever see those memes of like Henry Cavill standing there all smiling and happy, and then Jason Momoa is like creeping behind him, and it'll say like, you know, oh, my paycheck on Henry Cavill, and then it'll say like my rent on Jason Momoa. That's Walker Little coming for Jawaan Taylor, okay, if he doesn't step up his game. So hopefully Doug Peterson can get the best out of Jawaan Taylor. Hopefully he can be the right tackle that we need him to be. And hopefully this time next year we're giving Jawaan Taylor an extension because he had such a great year. That would be the best thing for the Jaguars. Let's move on to the tight end group. Obviously, there really isn't much other conversation than Evan Engram. Evan Engram, we signed to a 1-year, $8 million or $10 million, something like that deal. It's a prove-it deal. It's the whole reason he's here is to prove himself, that the glimpses that he showed with the Giants over the past few years, he can consistently be like that with a quarterback like Trevor Lawrence and a Doug Peterson's offense that is very heavily tight end centric. Evan Engram's got to prove himself. Hopefully the Jags are giving him a nice like 3-year deal next offseason because he had such a great year, and he can be a target for Trevor Lawrence for many years, and the Giants lost. It'll be the Jaguars game. We're going to move on over to the wide receiver position. It's pretty obvious. Again, I feel like should be to a lot of Jaguar fans. Laviska Shenault. Well, Jersey Jaguar, why wouldn't you say Christian Kirk? Because he's the one that we gave the big contract to. I feel like Christian Kirk, I don't really have much doubt that Christian Kirk will be at least productive. I think this offense is going to heavily center around Travis Etienne and Christian Kirk. So I don't doubt that Christian Kirk is going to get a lot of touches. So I'm not too worried about him. However, Laviska Shenault, if the Jaguars can get this year and next year out of Visca more of what we saw in his first year as far as his scoring, he only had like 1 or 2 drops in his rookie year as opposed to, it felt like every other pass he was dropping last year. If Visca can clean his act up and Visca can be the guy that we all thought he was going to be going into last year, then the Jaguars are set. Because Marvin Jones, this is his last year. Zay Jones is only on a 2-year deal. And the only other receiver that we really have long term outside of Christian Kirk is like Jamal Agnew. So the Jaguars, I would imagine that wherever we're picking in the draft next year, our first round pick will more than likely be a wide receiver. But it would help. It would just help this team exponentially if Laviska Shenault could pick up from his rookie year, and then Doug Peterson and his crew can kind of groom him into being that solid, at least the second wide receiver for Trevor Lawrence. Going to move on back to the backfield. We already know James Robinson's a beast. Okay, I don't expect a whole lot from Snoop Connor, so that only leads one guy only, and he wears number 1, Travis Etienne. Now, this is one of those things where I don't doubt that Travis Etienne will be good. When we drafted Travis Etienne, I was frustrated and annoyed, but then I kind of quickly got over it. And the only reason that I was annoyed is because, okay, you're a 1-15 football team, and the best player on your team last year was your running back who's undrafted, and you're paying, and he's good, you're paying him chump change, so you have a starting running back. Why are we spending a first-round pick on another running back? Well, Travis Etienne can do it all. Travis Etienne is going to be a superstar for us. I really believe that. I still believe that James Robinson, when he's fully healthy, will be our bell cow running back. That the fans will still love and adore, and he's a great player, and he's not going to get benched on key third downs. Urban. Not Trevor Lawrence. Travis Etienne is going to be a fantastic player for the Jaguars. I don't doubt that. What I do have question about is his health. They say that Liz Frank injury takes a lot of years off a running back. How sturdy is it? Everything I'm seeing with OTAs and everything that's come out is that he looks fantastic, and he's like been the highlight of everything. That is wonderful. That's awesome. I hope Travis Etienne is the next Alvin Kamara for us. That would be terrific. That's what I want. That's what I hope we get. And if we do get that, and if James Robinson comes back fully healthy, then Trevor Lawrence is going to have a successful second year, because he's going to have an excellent running game to lean on, which only leads one position. And I mean, obviously, the Jaguars are going to need CJ Beathard to really step it up. I'm sorry, that wasn't even funny. I don't even know why I did that. Trevor Lawrence, obviously, guys, we know that his circumstances last year were almost impossible to overcome. Urban Meyer is not even an NFL quality head coach. He was throwing to, nobody on key third downs, and the coaching staff didn't know how to game plan or manage anything. He's throwing 52 times his first NFL game ever, while James Robinson's averaging 5 yards a carry on his 5 carries. Okay, totally mismanaged his rookie year. Totally thrown to the wolves. It will not be like that this year. Doug Peterson is going to get the best out of Trevor Lawrence, and with the Chargers having Justin Herbert, you're going to see that out of Trevor Lawrence. I fully believe the Jaguars have their guy, but because he is the only guy in that position, I got to say, if Trevor Lawrence is the only guy that I'm talking about in this video that steps up his game in the next year, then it doesn't matter a whole lot what everyone else does. Well, it matters, but not nearly as much. Because if Trevor Lawrence takes that lead, the Jaguars are going to be a successful franchise for many, many, many years to come. Side note, has nothing to do with the video, but I just thought I'd throw this out there. I was walking with my wife the other day at a park, and some kids were playing a high school game, and we were talking about kids. And I said, I want my son to play football one day. And I said, I want him to be a quarterback and, look at me and say, Dad, I want to be like Trevor Lawrence one day. And then my wife said to me, well, do you think that Trevor Lawrence will even still be playing by the time we have a son who's old enough to play? And I said, well, if Trevor Lawrence is what we hope he is, then absolutely. Trevor Lawrence will be the Jaguars quarterback until I'm in my 40s, and I'll be an old man by then. That's the hope. That's the goal. This entire franchise rests on Trevor Lawrence. If we get that right, nothing else matters half as much as it does now. Moving on over to the defense real quick. Defensive line. This may surprise some of you, but I'll explain it. K'Lavon Chaisson. Imagine for a moment if K'Lavon Chaisson was even remotely worth that 20th overall pick. Just imagine it. Imagine if he was getting, instead of his 2 sacks in 2 years, what if he was averaging at least 7.5 to 9 a year? At least, right? Even if he wasn't elite, even if he was just a guy who was average, consistent, pretty much what like DeJuan Smoot is now. Now, it took DeJuan Smoot until his 3rd year for him to kind of come into his own as an average pass rusher, but we drafted DeJuan Smoot in the 3rd round. K'Lavon Chaisson was the 20th overall pick in the draft. Okay? If the Jaguars, if Doug Peterson, if Mike Caldwell can get something finally out of K'Lavon Chaisson, find some kind of role for him where he can be effective and he can disrupt the passer, if you add that to Josh Allen and what we hope and pray to God that Trayvon Walker is, the Jaguars are exponentially better already. They are so much better off. We desperately need that from K'Lavon Chaisson. Have I seen it in 2 years? No. Have you seen it in 2 years? No. But if we do see it this year, I don't think people are talking about that enough, how much that really could help this defense. Because people aren't excited enough about this defense. Well, you imagine the hope and the hype that we have already with adding Chad Mooma, Devin Lloyd, Trayvon Walker, okay, Foye Oluokun, Foley Fadukasi. And then if K'Lavon Chaisson actually develops properly and Mike Caldwell can get the best out of him, then that's just the cherry on top. That's the cherry on top. And that is the best case scenario for the Jaguars. When it comes to the defensive line, is that K'Lavon Chaisson finally comes into his own. Head on over to the corner position. Now this may surprise some of you because this guy is a solid player, but I don't think he played quite as well, and he has admitted that, and that is Shaquille Griffin. Shaquille Griffin should have had multiple interceptions this year that were dropped, and he said in an interview, I think last week, excuse me, I was listening to, that he does the jug machine every day and catches like 100 balls every day to make sure he does not drop any more interceptions. If Shaq Griffin can up his game just that little bit more, and Tyson Campbell continues his development that we all saw at the end of his rookie year, and then Darius Williams coming over from the Rams, the Jaguars will have the best corner trio that we've had since the 2017-2018 season. And that is fantastic. It's awesome to think about. Hopefully it becomes a reality. And you move on inside to the linebacker position. We have so many new linebackers. I'm almost tempted to go Devin Lloyd here, but I don't know what it is, you guys. But I have so much faith and confidence that Devin Lloyd will be a multi-Pro Bowler that, like, I have never had this much faith in a Jaguars draft pick, and I don't know how long. Like, I have crazy confidence that Devin Lloyd will be one of the best players that we've had in many, many, many years. So with that being said, I am going to go with Foye Oluokun. Now, I know he led the league in tackles last year. He's been a playmaker for the Atlanta Falcons. But the Jaguars paid him money. The Jaguars brought him here, in my opinion, to be the heartbeat of our defense. Even though I think Devin Lloyd will kind of be like that the other half of the heartbeat of the defense. But if Foye Oluokun, I think he's coming to a much better front seven with us now than he was with Atlanta. And with that, and with the money we're giving him, I think he could really thrive. And if he is everything that we think that he is, and maybe a little bit more, sky's the limit for this front seven, you guys. I know a lot of you are excited about the front seven of the Jaguars defense. I'm normally, the NFL is all about offense. You want to see touchdowns scored and high offense, but I love a good defense, and I cannot wait to see where the Jaguars defense is this year. With that being said, the very last part of the defense that I'm going to address, that being safety, and it's kind of another obvious one. We saw a glimpse of him, but a lot of Jaguar fans think he can be great, and that's Andre Cisco. Now, my personal opinion, I have no evidence to back this up whatsoever, but my personal opinion is that he was a Trent Baalke pick, and I hate to give him credit. I think he was a Trent Baalke guy, and Urban Meyer wanted someone else, but ultimately Trent Baalke got his way, and to stick it to Trent Baalke, Urban Meyer started Dewey over Cisco. I don't know any other explanation than that. Okay? Well, like I've heard some people say, oh, well, Cisco didn't really know the playbook. Okay, well, is that the coach's fault for maybe not teaching it right? Or is that his fault, or is that even true? Is that just Twitter talk? I don't know. No one will ever know. But my personal conspiracy theory is that Urban Meyer, because he's a jerk, purposely shafted Andre Cisco, because it was amazing to me that once Urban Meyer was fired, all of a sudden you see Andre Cisco out on the field more than we had ever seen him the first 3 months of the season. Why is that? Why else would that be? Doesn't make any sense. Did he just magically learn the playbook in December? Doesn't make sense to me. So Andre Cisco, he's a lot like Tyson Campbell. Those two guys, if they can show all of next year, pretty much what they showed in, well, Tyson Campbell was more like November and December, Cisco in December. The Jaguars secondary, a lot of us, including myself, weren't that crazy on the couple picks that we had in the 2021 draft. It could actually end up being a very, very profitable draft for the Jags if those two guys work out. So Cisco is my pick for safety, for sure. Although Rayshon Jenkins does really need to step it up. But if he doesn't, I have a lot of faith that Daniel Thomas can kind of take over that position eventually. But Cisco for sure is the guy that we all think can be a superstar. I'm not even going to bother with special teams because, the punter, Logan Cook, is only one guy and he's fine. And then our kicker, I think his name is Mavis. Does anyone really know who our kicker is right now? Because I'm not even really 100% sure who our kicker is right now. Let me know in the comments if you really know who our kicker is, because I'm not 100% sure who the Jaguars kicker will be come August and September. But that's all I got for you guys today. Just thought it would be a fun little video to talk about, because my goodness, is it hard to find content to talk about now when it comes to the NFL and football and Jaguars, and what are we now in June, almost mid-June? It's hard to believe, but we're less than 2 months away from the Jaguars kicking off the NFL season against the Raiders, so that'll be fun. Obviously, we get a Sunday night football game, mind blown with that one. That's all I got for you guys today. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, help your boy out on his journey to 1,000 subscribers. I'm over halfway there. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Go Jags. Screw the Titans. Have a great night. Well, look at you. You made it through the entire video. I appreciate that. Since you've made it this far, you might as well go ahead and share this video with every Jaguar fan that you know. Really helps the channel grow, and hey, us Jaguar fans got to stick together. Duval!